Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, which is, permanently living in the 1990s, early 2000s, if you are listening to any of these series we focus on. But sometimes in the 70s and sometimes in the future, and maybe back in the Victorian age, definitely now the Jurassic age. At the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet. Hi.
Hi, so today we're talking Fallen Idols, Nick and Aaron Carter, Season 1, Episode 2, Into the Darkness. And does it not get dark?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, I wonder if there will ever be a time where someone commits a crime or does something that if they were in their right mindset would not have done, and then just come forward and just be like, I did that and I wasn't in my right mind. Like I just can't stand the like denial of the thing. It's just so
Yeah,
weird to me.
I Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, in relationship to Nick Carter, he could have, I guess they talk about him being sober and him having obviously issues with alcohol. And spoiler alert, his whole family has issues with lots of things, like, and a lot of like fucked up things, like cans of paint and shit, which is just like really difficult to even talk about. But here we are. So obviously trigger warning if you don't want to hear about sexual assault or drug abuse or family trauma. I just skip this docu-series and just go on to like the easy peasy stuff we usually do, like 90 Day Fiance, Lip, that's fun. But here we are. So obviously we're on the heels of Nick Carter being a very famous Backstreet Boy and Melissa Schumann having accused him of sexual assault. And when she released her story, at first she got some support, but now Twitter and the internet at large, which is, I mean, Twitter is now X anyway, but the internet at large, all the Discord groups, all of the Instagram, all of it starts to come at her. And then I didn't know this when I recorded episode 1, which is what Monique said, which was so great to have her tell me that, because I did not understand why we had so many Chiron named of like super fan Backstreet Boy. I was like, okay, well, we don't need you. You're not adding to this conversation. I know the Backstreet Boys were big, like, and I know there's sad women like you that still like them. You know what I'm saying? I didn't need to see you, but it's because later they're gonna be like, Melissa's a bitch. Nick would never do that. I know Nick. Nick doesn't have it in him to do it. Straight
Yeah.
faced, some like, I mean, that's like cult shit where like someone who, just like a grown ass woman who knows you don't know this person and also knows that, I hate to say this, even people you think even people you think and I mean, you think you know them because you have physically been in their presence where they have acknowledged your existence time and time again. Even those people you don't really know. We know that. I mean, I'm just listening to you right now. If that's news to you, God bless. So it's banana ramas for this grown ass woman who indubitably does not know Nick Carter as anything else besides fan/idol to be like, he doesn't have it in him. I've studied every morsel of his brain. I've sat in on his therapy sessions. I've been in a long-term relationship with him where I've, and it's why it's wild. It's because it really shows the lack of emotional IQ for like any person that would say that, especially the super fans on this documentary. You know what I'm
It
saying?
also shows that they are not from any major metropolitan city.
That feels that way. Yes.
Like it's like if what do you mean? I'm sorry. I am not somebody who does drugs. I'm not somebody who like partied hardied. I didn't drink until 3 years ago. So like I am pretty like straight and narrow compared to a lot of people in the same major metropolitan city that I've been in. But having lived in LA and just been a host at a restaurant or just worked at Crate and Barrel or just worked at fucking Starbucks on Rodeo, these celebrities are fucking crazy. And they're crazy because of the celebrity bubble that they are in. I mean, people are wild, and if you've worked at Starbucks, you know that people are wild animals. Like they're wild. Like they will come to your establishment and act a bloody fool in front of everyone because you didn't give them enough caramel in their caramel sauce and their caramel macchiato. So what makes you think that a Backstreet Boy or even a road manager or a blah blah blah, somebody who has basically a dream job and they have a job where there's an intense amount of pressure, there is always drugs and alcohol available, and everyone's behaving badly. Now, I'm
Yeah.
not saying that everyone is doing it, but the chances of you being caught up in something that you are not aware of as bad behavior goes up. I guess I could just speak for myself. Like, I've done a lot of unraveling of like bad behavior, and it's nowhere near the category of like this, but like of bad behavior that I just didn't know was like bad or could hurt people's feelings or like whatever, because I was in a surroundings where people, that's how people spoke to each other. That's how people did stuff. So like if you come from a background where your mother cannot be trusted, and not even she can't just be trusted just with like regular shit. This bitch is stealing money from you. This, your dad is doing drugs with you. Like there's just another level when you don't have that steady family like support, even if it doesn't have to be like all five members of your family. It could just be one solid individual, you know. Like I just am like, I had one solid individual in my life that helped me to get to where I am. But if you don't have that, then there's no telling what shenanigans you can get into. And in my mind, I just think that like, yes, circumstances can be where you're on drugs, you're drunk, and you just feel like all this shit has been happening to you, and so you then do it to others. Hurt people hurt people.
You're absolutely right. I mean, that's what's happening, and you're absolutely right. It's just a trauma. Is almost like generational given disease. But here we are. I just want to. So let me just tell you. So when she, of course, posts this, and the fans say, that the whole Nick army is behind him. It's not just the fans. He goes on Dancing with the Stars, so he has a partner that is, sorry, tweets, what's the word? Tweets, that she stands behind them. And then there is this YouTuber that they show, and her name is Molly Golightly. And I can only describe her as what looks like a drugged out real housewife with a filler face that like has aged. God, filler face aging in docuseries is a palatable thing. You can see it, like, I mean, I'm sorry, tangible, like not palatable, but like tangible in the thing. You can see how filler face, when someone just first gets it, and then 7 years down the line, what it looks like. And everyone turns into Irina from like, Love is Blind.
Oh, wow. I just want to say also is that like the Backstreet Boys, when they had this relationship with TMZ, and when they would get off a plane, because that's where, I mean, TMZ finds all their celebrities either exiting a restaurant or getting off a plane. They're all like, yeah, people just want money, and so things like this will happen. Blase, like they're supporting Nick. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Chris, if somebody comes up and says that you did something to them, I'll be like, I have no fucking comment. I have no comment.
Mm-hmm. That's a smart thing to say.
I don't know what you did.
Yeah, and you're not gonna say shit about me either one. Like,
yeah, I'm not gonna say shit
at all. And say nothing at all. I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Like I don't know about that. I hope those people.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't have any fucking. I wasn't there, so I can't say whether or not.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know.
And they know. Like they know. They probably do. I'm just like, what have they all done? What have they all done?
Yeah. I mean,
what has AJ done?
I mean,
what has AJ done? so like
Joey hasn't done anything in NSYNC though. He was a good guy. All he did was My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Hey,
yeah.
I mean, just like what? I mean, listen. Those of us who were aspiring actors and or grew up in Los Angeles, we all have stories of one person or another. We're all 2 degrees, like Monique yesterday, we all are 2 degrees separation from some celebrity and their amazing bad behavior.
Yes,
so it's very indicative of like, you don't live in LA if you think that nothing happened ever, because the people need to go home. If they don't go directly home after any event, shenanigans may have ensued.
Go
Um,
home. Do not get $200, honey.
yeah.
So Molly Golightly, this woman that is like targeting her, and the other fans are doxing Melissa. Like they also find out that for some reason this woman Molly Golightly like had sex with Nick Carter like 4 years ago, which I just wasn't remember that part. I mean, what? What?
I'm trying to think of like how old she must have been when she did that to him. Is
I
she
think
a
she
part
was.
of the problem?
I don't know, but
Because if she's her,
she looked
she looked
crazy.
wild, like a
She
wild
looked
beast out of the bushes.
unhinged.
Just
She's gonna
she
come
was
for
just
us now.
on
I
a
mean, I don't know. God.
webcam, on a
Oof.
webcam. She didn't even get a good like talk about YouTuber. When I see a YouTuber, like the bar is up here for me. And if you come out with a webcam and then sometimes you're not really ready to be on live and you have on sunglasses and a baseball hat, get the fuck off of my YouTube screen, ma'am. No. So so we now Melissa feels like Nick's camp was very strategic and purposeful and targeted her. They doxed her, which is such a scary thing to happen, to be doxed, because I'll never understand the rabid fan base. I'll never understand somebody who stands 10 toes down on social media in support of somebody and then goes and starts to attack other people. It's just not a part of my my way of being. Like there's a lot of bad things about my way of being, but like just cyberbullying people and like telling people to kill themselves and like he wouldn't do that at Melissa Schumann. Like what?
Yeah, I like certain things about myself. I don't do that. I like the fact that I don't. I mean, like, yeah, I don't leave bad comments. I don't go into live streams and bully people. I don't, I when I want to leave a mean comment, all I do is scroll down and see if someone else has already left it. That's mostly what I do, and then if that has happened, then I know that my work here has been done as a society, And
Yeah.
if no one said anything at all, then I go, they must be then all I think is they must be deleting the bad comments, and I still keep scrolling. So,
Yeah, I just don't
so
care.
yeah. Now we meet another player in the game. Now Nick Carter has a type, and the type is blonde pop star. Okay, like he must have like wanted to date Britney Spears. Like there's the one time I'm going to say this one. I'm saying you're welcome, you can drink. But here's the thing, obviously, because Melissa was in Dream, and I've been singing that bop no matter what, the whole goddamn day. You do. He's never gonna be with you. He's into what he's got. He loves me. He loves you not. Yeah. Anyway,
Um
so and also Kaya Jones was in Pussycat Dolls. When one of the best. I love Pussycat fucking Dolls. I love them. I love them.
when they said that they were one of the biggest female pop stars, like I was like, did I miss that? But to me, Pussycat Dolls and what's that other that sing that work it's when you go to go work. What's that song? What's that group? Normani's in the group.
Fifth
Fifth
Harmony.
Harmony. So
Yeah.
Pussycat Dolls, Fifth Harmony, they're like second tier
Yes.
female pop star group. Okay. Okay, great. It's just
Yeah,
like
they're one of the. But this is what they said. One of the biggest female groups in history. Which listen, the Supremes, Destiny's Child, Dixie Chicks are obviously top tier.
well, the Spice Girls, like
The Spice Girls top tier.
listen, I'm gonna just say no doubt. Like that
That's not a
like
girl group. Are you insane?
it might as well be. You know what I mean? I'll give Gwen Stefani a girl group before I say that Pussycat Dolls are one of the best. Like, I just can't, yes, they had a time period for about 7 years.
Yeah.
No, you can't. You cannot have a 7-year career and tell me that. No,
7-year itch. A lot of marriages only 7 years.
no, no. You cannot
Very
tell
important
me that.
marriages, my parents.
But you cannot tell me. I mean, maybe the Spice Girls only had 7 years too, but like their global impact is like I guess I'm also thinking of global impact. Like, what are you talking about? Anyways,
There's
I'll put the Ronettes out there first. Like, there's so many girl groups. Oh,
not best selling.
Yeah, the Ronettes.
I know, but sorry. Best selling is different than platinum.
Best?
A lot of because best selling can mean tickets to arena shows, merchandise, best selling, who knows
Uh,
what the fuck that means.
maybe.
It's like water words. There's no like strength in them. So anyway, and I mean, we can argue the semantics back and forth, but this is what they said. Sorry about it. Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot as me? And don't you, baby, don't you? I liked that. I liked,
I like the
when
fact
I
that the
grow
front.
up, I'm gonna be famous. I'm gonna be a star. I'm gonna have boobies. I
I
did have
thought they
boobies.
said movies. I didn't know they said boobies. One, two.
Boobies.
Really loved that Nicole Scherzinger was the front person of that because it was like finally a woman of maybe color. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
was
some
sick.
sort of color,
Some sort of ethnicity is running through that Scherzinger body. So
Yeah, but not the last name, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, not at all.
Robin Anton, of course, like was the choreographer of that group. And trying to think, I think was it Bobby Newberry? I'm trying to think one of the other like choreographers that kind of just like brought in that queen pop, honey. And that was like the first time I think that like we really got to see that kind of like heels choreography, like on the pop stage, like in that
Okay.
way,
Okay. I'll
because
give it
like,
that.
yeah, I
I'll
mean,
give it that.
okay. So anyway, here we are. So Kaya has really white blonde hair and tan skin, you know what I'm saying? And she wears a lot of makeup, like, like she lives, like kind of like still in that age, which makes sense because it was like a big time for her, So at that time, she starts to date Nick when they meet like backstage of some award show or
And
maybe it
it's
was like Fashion Rocks or something.
and it's right after Paris Hilton.
Hmm.
So she goes into that knowing that that was possibly a thing.
Hmm.
And they moved in together 4 days later.
Hmm.
And she ended up leaving the Pussycat Dolls because they forced her to get an abortion, which is like horrible. But
Yeah.
she's like tweeting to Nick because Nick is coming after Melissa, like, boys, slow your roll because I know where the bodies are buried. And so then they ask her where are the bodies buried. And she's like, I don't want to talk about it. And I'm like, can you please get off our screen then? Like, if
Yes.
you're coming to do a documentary to tell us what the tea is, and tell us the tea. Otherwise, go away. Like, I'm not
Yes.
interested in like this, like, I don't want to talk about it. And this is like the third person who said they don't want to talk about what they came on the show to talk about.
You're
So
kind
it
of
was
right.
weird. But what it had to do with is that she came into the bedroom and he was watching porn and he's like, I want to do this. And she's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. And then he just kept playing the thing. And I'm like, what was he playing?
What kind of porn was it?
Yeah, like what kind like
She couldn't
bestiality is
do
the
it.
only thing I can think of. What were you thinking of?
Like golden shower or like, like poop stuff.
But yeah, but why wouldn't you want to say that he wanted me to poop on his chest? Like there's nothing that someone can say like he kept showing me like did he show her two chicks one cup? Like what did he show her to make her so like I
Well,
don't want to talk about it. Tell
this
us.
documentary would lead you to believe that he wanted like younger girl, like her to hook up with a younger
Mhm.
girl or something like that, because like for some
Yes.
reason he is attracted to like 15-year-old body types, even if they lie
But
to them and tell them that they're 18.
yeah, but I feel like we're talking about a time where he was like in his early 20s and they were underage, which isn't like if somebody were to be like Nick was 34 and like still doing that behavior, like then I would be like, oh, like whatever. But not to excuse it at all. But I think we had a culture where like 15-year-olds were okay at that time. Like in my mind, the culture was that. Um, yeah, it was just very very weird. So then we have another alleged victim. Her name is Ashley. Ashley was a friend of Angel, and Angel is the twin sister of Aaron. And Angel was on the compound. She was super lonely, and she's like, "Hey, like come and visit me." They met at a backstage too, of a Backstreet Boys concert or a Nick Carter concert. And she comes down, Ashley, to the compound and begs her mother, and her mother says yes. And she's like, I don't know why I did it. I talked to the dad, and the dad said he would be there. And I was like, that is the wrong person to talk to get reassurance that your child will be watched over at a
Mhm.
celebrity's compound. Like, I would
Mhm.
need to talk to the mom. I'm sorry. Like, I get it. Like, both male and female, they both molest children. But if I'm sending my 15-year-old daughter anywhere to strangers, it's not going to be in the hands of a man.
Yeah, but the mom could have easily been like, "Yeah, it's fine." I mean, the mom was there, I'm assuming too. The mom didn't do shit.
Oh no, but what I'm saying is that she didn't talk to the mom. She talked
Oh, I
to
know.
Bob. And
Totally.
she was assured, and as she couldn't tell that Bob was actually probably high at that exact moment, because like that character, I mean, listen, we can say a lot of things about Bob, but the most egregious thing is his hair. The most egregious thing is him with that blonde hair trying to look like Nick and Aaron.
Yeah.
He looked like a fucking weird ass squire.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh, I know. Like, I think Justin Bieber's dad was weird, and I think that like I don't know, like one of the I don't know the TikTok stars. There's that Madison Beer or the Diamielos or whatever, but one of their dads is weird too. You know.
Oh my god.
But anyway, basically, yeah. So as you know, Nick is the oldest, Aaron's the youngest, and in the between are just a bunch of ladies. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to tell you. Just that's the Carter family. There's a guy, there's a dad, there's a mom. The
There's
mom and dad.
BJ, there's Leslie, and then there's the twins, Angel and Aaron. Nick is
Okay.
the oldest.
Yes. Okay, that's a nice way of saying it. So, obviously, Nick has gone on to superstardom, but then they put Aaron in the Ringer, which is showbiz early on. Like, if Nick was shipped down to Florida to meet Lou Pearlman, who's questionable in what Lou Pearlman did, which we touched upon yesterday, and they touch upon in pretty much in this episode, which is Lou Pearlman, pretty much groomed his young pop star men in weird, very sexual ways to be heartthrob pop stars, but also b, I'm sure, provide a very enticing atmosphere for him to just roam around in. So basically, Nick is 13, Aaron starts really young, like 8 or 9. And honestly, the baby pictures of Aaron like dancing and singing he is adorable, and he looks like just like a little sprite little boy. He looks like Peter Pan, or he looks like Dennis the Menace, that kind of just wide-eyed boy. And it's interesting because even though you just said that about his dad, Aaron looks like he should be a natural blonde, but that he is. Like, he has a twin sister. Is he natural blonde? Like, his twin sister has brown hair, you know?
Yeah, you're right. But you're talking about episode 3 now, just so you're tracking.
Oh, my fault. Go on.
So back at this Carter compound. So the Carter compound is this like huge place where everyone has their own little house, like all the kids. And so
What a dream.
oh yeah, it looked fantastic.
Yeah, little
Homegirl
cabins.
Ashley comes down to hang out with Angel. They're having a grand old time in the pool, but it was lawless. Okay. There were no limits. There was no child supervision. They just drank from sun up to sundown. And Aaron and his black scent I think maybe that's why I never liked him. I just couldn't I just was like, I'm sorry, sir. I don't know what's happening, but like, I can't deal with it. So the toothless cousin was there. Bob was drinking with everyone. Nick shows up. He brings a bottle of 151. He starts pouring shots.
Oh, Bacardi
Nick was
151. Is there anything worse?
Nick, I never had it. Nick was 23 years old. She was 15. She ended up on a boat. They took out a boat into the like water, and everybody was partying. They were drunk, and he had sex. A 23-year-old man had sex with a 15-year-old girl in the cabin, snatched her up. She was drunk. And then he pulls her aside before
Gross.
she left
Gross.
again, asks her for oral sex. He badgered her until like she finally gave in again, and they did not use any protection. And so in October of that year, this was September of 2023, October, she ended up going back again because Angel wanted her to come back. And then we meet a character named Jen. Jen is a roadie and or the like resident lesbian, like I don't know, but she's there, and she's a part of the family. And so she kind of speaks to the dysfunction of the parents. And so when she speaks to the compound and how it was dysfunctional, how everything really went to shit once Bob and Jane broke up. Jane actually moved out of the compound, and homegirl Ashley was again put in a situation to have sex with Nick again. But this time she came home and filed a report. But because of the way that the story was told to do the police, that she said that she never told him no, and that she had been drinking as well, that they didn't like see it as the young sweet girl walking down the street minding her own business, and this like creep comes and rapes her. They felt like she was, it's the early 2000s, which is like such a shitty thing to say, but like I could actually absolutely believe that the police were just like, well, we're asking for it. You put yourself in that situation. So like, what are we supposed to do to this pop star that you went to their house and he said, she said, so.
Yeah, this is such a shitty story. She also says that she had lied to him and said that she was 18, which I guess also didn't help the case. Another part of the story, which is a disgusting detail, is that they were having sex in the main cabin and there was this little like it's like a skylit kind of easy escape you can get from the deck of the boat down to the cabin by just like almost like a manhole or like a trap door. And I guess while they were fucking, people were like watching that and that was allowed and she didn't know that. So
Oh
that's
my
also really,
gosh.
really humiliating. Basically now we go back, it's 2019 September. Aaron reaches out to Melissa. And he also because he was there at the time, knew of Ashley. Ashley at one point says that her and Aaron dated, that Aaron was always very sensitive and very like knowledgeable that had happened, whereas her friend BJ was like upset or Ashley is it wait Ashley sorry
Angel.
Ashley's friend BJ, I'm sorry, BJ is
Nope.
Ashley's cardio friend.
Mm-mm.
Who brought her in?
Angel.
Angel. It was another A word. Angel and Ashley are friends. So Angel got mad at Ashley, but Aaron dated Ashley. So Aaron knew that Ashley had been raped by Nick. And so when Aaron reaches out to Melissa, he's like, it wasn't even just you. And so they have the recorded conversation between Melissa and Aaron. And Melissa at the time also didn't quite know like where Aaron had been, but anyway, that also happens. Yes.
Yeah, so this is where we get some more of his like, Nick's deeds and whatnot. And it's just a really kind of ugly scene.
Yeah.
And it's very, very sad that these two people had a very similar encounter with him. And that they were hushed and that they were made to feel like they couldn't come forward, or they didn't come forward because of the protection around him as a mega superstar.
Yeah, and their parents just had to like know what had happened and just sit on it. There was like nothing for them to do, no justice to be had, like Melissa's dad. And now we're gonna, we also meet Ashley's mom in this episode. And it's really, that part is really, really sad too. And it also goes to show the differences that we're starting to like hear between Aaron and Nick, as well as like some of the family dynamics, which is heartbreaking and just like full of drama and full of toxicity and full of drug use and alcohol and like in this kind of thing at all, and mental, maybe even mental disease. So it almost feels like a Tennessee Williams play or something like that, but just without the accents.
All right, you guys. Well, that's the end of the episode. Thank you for getting through it with us. I'm sorry, I don't know Tennessee Williams enough to agree with you. So, I mean, you've made reference to Tennessee Williams so many times throughout the pod.
You're a theater arts major, so I just thought, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but were there any Black people in Tennessee Williams? You know what I mean?
Well, I just don't know how many. You're right, but there's just that could be said for like other things that I'm sure
you're right. About. You're right. But I think that also what it is that you love Chekhov. I was like, oh, no,
I didn't say Chekhov.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just yeah, you didn't. But you love Chekhov, and you love like our theater experience is like two ships sailing in the night. Like we have different experiences. But yeah, so if you guys want to see the visuals of what you're listening to, please join us on patreon.com/DocuSweeties for $10 a month. You get a live every first Monday of the month, plus other interesting content in the visuals. So if you're interested in that, please join us on patreon.com/DocuSweeties. Chris will tell you about our free options if you can't do that. Chris?
Yes, please go and open your social medias and type in at DocuSweeties on Instagram, at DocuSweeties on TikTok, at DocuSweeties1 on X. We have a Facebook group, the DocuSweeties Podcast Facebook group. And if you haven't yet, please give us 5 stars and a helpful review. And we're on YouTube, so subscribe there and share it amongst your friends. We appreciate you. Thanks for spending some time with us. No matter what you do, he's never gonna be with you. He's into what he's got. He loves me. He loves you not.